Hi, everybody. This is the Michigan Innovation Podcast. And today I have with me Brian Welliver, and he is my son. And Brian is going to talk to us today about a very special topic. How are you doing today, Brian?
I'm doing very well, thank
You're welcome. Well, I'm really excited to talk to you today. We are going to do a deep dive in the area of mental health and specifically about Brian and his personal journey with the mental health diagnosis. And so I think that you're super courageous to want to really talk about some of the things that you've experienced with your mental health journey.
you. Some people just like learn of public scrutiny.
Well, that's an interesting way to put it. Well, we won't scrutinize
It's
you
like
too
a
much.
sunburn. It'll turn into a tan eventually.
Yeah, that's right. So tell us about you first, Brian, before we get into this concept. Tell us who you are, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about your background. Where'd you go to school and who's Brian?
I'm from northern Michigan. We moved up here from Grand Rapids, where you worked at IBM.
Right.
When I was around 4 years old, we had a cabin, and that uh, we built into a big, medium to bigger house. It, it's we did it ourselves. My dad did most of the work on it. The plumbing, he did all the plumbing. He did all the like the kind of the stuff to build a house for us. And then you had your business selling medical records, and I went to school. And then when I was a teenager, uh, the biggest thing that happened was I started getting depressed a lot, and
Mhm.
it started really when I went to Stanford for a summer program called Junior Statesman. It's
Oh, I remember that. Stanford out in California.
right, it's Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. And I would kind of got anxiety and depression out there, and then I came back, and we had to face uh, a divorce in our family, and it's just the depression kind of like made me act out, and my grades started suffering. But I went to Ferris after I graduated for a year, and I started Atkins. I was kind of a bigger, kind of like what I am now in high school person, and then I did Atkins, and I lost 150 pounds.
That was a lot of weight.
Yeah, and
You did really well on that.
I really was doing well, and so I went to Michigan State after a year at Ferris, and I got into a really good friend group, and
Well,
I
let's back up a little bit. When you were at Michigan State and you got admitted into the honors program in James Madison.
yeah, James Madison. I was a student there for international relations.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a big achievement, I thought, in your life.
Well, this is all like prehistory to me because my life's really divided into before my diagnosis and after my diagnosis.
Right.
Um, my personality has only grown, but at the same time, it's like another lifetime remembering what happened before that. But I got into a good friend group, and I dropped out of school to travel the country. I moved to Austin, Texas eventually. We went to Boston a few times, and I was just sleeping on couches and having a lot of fun that I had missed out on. I never really had good friends before. I don't know if you remember one time I came to you and I said, Mom, I only have associates. I don't have friends.
Yeah, I
And that was
remember.
in middle school. But
You did
and
have a great friend group there for
and
really,
I'm
and
still
they're still your friends to this very day, a lot of them.
yes, they are. And I appreciate them very much. But then when I moved back to Lansing, and I was starting to go back to MSU around 22, 23. And then when I was
You were 23 years old, 22 years old.
uh, around 22 when I moved
Right.
back.
Okay.
And then so I've had a year in Grand Rapids.
Oh, that's right. And you went to Grand Valley?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was going back to school at MSU, and I had my first delusion after smoking some weed, which I'm not a big weed smoker, but I smoked some weed at a party that's marijuana, and the next day it was like night and day. I was starting to have delusions.
Wow. And so that was the beginning of your mental, you
That
know,
was 16 years ago. That was 24. I had just turned 24, and I'm turning 40 this year.
exactly. Well, great, for that background. So it sounds like you were diagnosed at when were you actually diagnosed with
Well, they
mental
do.
illness?
I was diagnosed when I was 25 with the correct diagnosis. Before that, they were kind of searching, and they would put labels on me just for the medicine to work, be justified, like schizophrenia or schizoid personality disorder. But it really took in-depth interviews and counseling at a hospital for them to diagnose me with the correct disorder, which was schizoaffective bipolar.
And what is schizoaffective bipolar disorder? That's a long, so schizoaffective bipolar disorder. That's 4 words. What is that?
It's schizophrenia symptoms mixed with bipolar underlying it.
Oh,
So
okay.
I tend to be depressed or manic.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be on mood stabilizers for my mood to stay stable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a long time to really understand the differences between me and another person with the same disorder or schizophrenia. Like I've taken a lot of years to learn by studying other people that I run across, like the differences between us. And
Mm-hmm.
you can have two people with the same diagnosis, and they can exhibit completely different symptoms.
Must be very, so you said that you had a delusion. What was that like?
Well, it was like Facebook had just hit it big, and everyone was getting on Facebook. And I was like, oh, they're all like telling me to do stuff. I thought people were telling me. I thought I had done something. I couldn't recall what I had done like specifically, but I thought I had done something to warrant scrutiny by people. And I thought, there's no way I'm crazy. Like I'm not schizophrenic. Like that was just unheard of to me. So I thought it was more likely that there was a big conspiracy.
Yeah, I can imagine. So that was how many years you've endured this, did you say?
It's been 16 years
So
actually.
16 years of enduring this diagnosis, and I know you've had several ups and downs through those 16 years. Where are you at right now? How do you feel right now?
I'm
And
very close to recovery. I'm on medicine that was working, and it's working so well that I'm kind of moving too fast at times. I just have been diagnosed with a new disorder on top of schizoaffective, which is adjustment disorder, which means I'm actually moving too fast in my changes, and it's too stressful for like how I exhibit stress. Like some people will act out and like be overwhelmed, but I don't feel overwhelmed. To me, it's like psychosomatic where it seeps into my mood without me acknowledging it that I'm stressed. Like I don't acknowledge that I'm stressed. I'll just feel different.
oh, okay. So how are you coping with this new diagnosis? Did they give you more medication?
I'm seeing my doctor. My doctor had a meeting with my sister, who's my guardian. That's just new this year. Uh, this year in February, she became my guardian. Before that, I was my own guardian. But I was doing really bad last year. And anyways, my guardian and my doctor just had a really long talk on Tuesday, and so I'm gonna go see my doctor on the 25th.
Awesome. With all that happening, it sounds like you've got a fresh start and things are really looking very, very up. and tell me what kind of goals you have now.
Well, in Cadillac, I don't know if people might not be aware, but you actually did a podcast with Club Cadillac. Now I'm going to start going there more. I'm going to. Right now, I'm writing.
Well, let's stop for a moment. What, and some of the audience probably didn't get a chance to see the Club Cadillac podcast we did on the Cadillac Simply the Best podcast. What is, in your words, what does Club Cadillac offer a person on their mental health journey?
Well, Club Cadillac really is a place to become stable and to also develop skills that you can use on your road to recovery. And by recovery, I mean they help anyone. Just like people can go as further on the as far on the road to recovery as they're able or comfortable with. But they take people even to the extremes of getting a job and getting a house and a car. They'll help you get a job, and they'll partner with you on the job to make sure that you don't miss a day and things like that.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm very, very impressed with Club Cadillac. So that's a goal, to engage with Club Cadillac and see if they can help you. What other goals do you have on your horizon?
Well, I'm quitting smoking, and I'm smoking actually is a double-edged sword with people in my disorder. I've just learned that it actually exacerbates schizophrenia.
What's that mean?
It causes the disorder to manifest more.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just found that out. But people with schizophrenia are more likely to smoke, use nicotine products, and be addicted to coffee and other things too. But we're more likely to be homeless. We're more likely to have a lot of problems that and it's because we have a different engine inside of us. It's like everyone else is electric and we're gasoline still.
What other goals do you have for yourself?
I'm writing a 30-page PDF on my road to recovery actually, and I'm just at a part where I'm trying to think of how to write down uh what I'm going through now, which is the change of starting recovery and how I can't leave my support system behind.
Right.
Because I talked to my guardian last night, my sister, really in depth about like getting a job. What does that entail? Like, when would she be comfortable helping me or seeing me along that road? She's not ready yet to even consider it. And rather than leave her in the dust and like try it on my own, I have to be lockstep with my support system. Like,
absolutely.
This really is when you're in a situation like this, you need a support system. And some people that don't have a close family, that's what Club Cadillac or CMH, Northern Like CMH is for, is to really provide that support so that when you are ready to grow, you have people to go with you.
Awesome. I love that. Do you have any other goals that you wanted to share with us?
Lose weight and quit smoking. And I like to get some romance in my later life. I was talking to my priest. I said, well, I'm almost 40, and the girls my age, they probably already have kids, probably don't want any more. What do I do? And he said, you can always adopt.
Oh, yeah, there's a probably, and
So
I do adoptions here at the Koshiba Law for Caitlin. And so, yeah, there's a lot you can do in the area of adoption.
yeah, I just want something that most people would say was just an average. To me, average is the peak. And I know that the peak is limited only by my imagination, but right now, a nice little house with a dog and a cat and a car and a job would be a monumental
God bless
achievement.
you.
It would be a
God bless
monumental
you.
achievement.
Yes, yes, I know that would be wonderful. I know that medication is really important to recovery. And so, what's it like if you have this disorder? How does it affect you when you're off your meds versus on your meds?
When you're on your meds, you you're much more kind and polite, and you might be a little slower around the edges, but things don't upset you really as much. But when you are off the meds, like I've been off the meds a few times, and it's my own fault for being stubborn and of wanting to explore. Like I kind of felt like an alien at times in the fact that my brain works differently, and I wanted to nitpick at it and write down all my notes and like study myself like a scientific specimen when I was crazy. And it was kind of like when I was in psychosis, and it was kind of like an experiment for me because I've read so much about Carl Jung,
Hmm. I know
Um,
he's one of your heroes.
yes, and so I was really trying to experiment, but when you're on your meds, you're much more kind, and things don't affect you as much and negatively. But when you're off your meds, the littlest things can really set you off, and like you could go into a spiral and really get down in the dumps or angry or just some kind of negative reaction.
Sure. When I think about modern medication in the area of health, and I wonder how you feel about, I know you're a student of history. I look back on, let's say, 100 years ago, before we had all these modern medications, and there were so many insane asylums all across the world. And we had one just up there in Traverse City, a very large building all over the state of Michigan. There was one in Newberry, other places, and there's no need for those buildings anymore. And it's really due to modern medication and providing an answer. It may not be perfect, but it does improve the quality of life so that people aren't required to be in an inpatient acute hospital setting.
That change came around in the 1980s. People getting out of the hospitals and back on into foster care homes or things of that nature. It was really a bipartisan effort, but Reagan signed it into law that it's you're able to get
Hmm.
disability as Social Security help if you are insane, because it's cheaper to just to afford that for the government than to keep you in an insane asylum.
Awesome. And so you get more support. So combining that with the modern medicine, it was a twofold uh, change to the mental health journey for people with this illness. Well, before we wrap it up, Brian, is there anything you want to say about new and different things happening in the mental health world these
I
days?
just came across a study that uh, there was this girl who got into schizophrenic stupor, and she was living in a coma of a complete schizophrenia coma
Oh, that sounds so
for
sad.
years and years and years, and they finally got her out of the coma,
Hmm.
and they treated her for they found out that she had an autoimmune like in her brain
Oh,
problem,
oh my.
and she got completely better.
Wow.
So I think in the next 10 years we might find more discoveries like that, and we'll get down to the what causes. There might be more than one primal cause for this spectrum of disorders, but we might have a cure in 10 years. So here's
Oh,
hoping.
well, that's great news. Well, thank you very much, Brian, for being on the podcast today. I hope to see you back here in another 3 to 6 months if you'll join us on the podcast and tell us how your journey is going and how your goals are being accomplished.
Yes, yes, I would love to.
Okay, well, with that, we're going to say goodbye. Bye.